Let's face it, being a business owner and entrepreneur is not easy, and it's not for everyone. In today's episode, really is the Stern Truth Business Unfiltered as we sit down with my very special guest, Chanel Rodrigues of Success Story Marketing. And Chanel discusses her journey, her roller coaster ride, including the emotional roller coaster ride of being an entrepreneur. And she gives some insights and some strategies that has helped her navigate this world we call entrepreneurship. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Marshall Stern, and I've spent over 35 years leading and growing multiple small businesses. I know firsthand the struggles of entrepreneurship, feeling isolated, lonely, overwhelmed, and feeling like you have to do it all by yourself. I've been through multiple recessions, and I have felt the highs and the lows. I've been there, and I get it. This podcast is here to change that. Every week, I will bring you straight talking advice, real world strategies, and honest conversations about what it takes to succeed in business without the fluff, the gimmicks, or the sugarcoating. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress, then you are in the right place. This is the Stern Truth. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Stern Truth Business Unfiltered. Now, today I have a very special guest, and this really will be business unfiltered. I want to introduce you to Chanel from Success Story Marketing. How are you, Chanel?
Hi, guys. I am doing well, thanks. Marshall, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I've been really looking forward to this session because, this whole podcast is business unfiltered. We're talking about the stern truths of what it's like running and growing a small business. And today, I think we're going to be touching a little bit on your journey and the ups and downs and how it can take an effect on us emotionally and a lot more. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Okay, so my name is Chanel. I own Success Story Marketing. I started the business about 5 years ago with my business partner, Gwen. And now I am a solopreneur. So I'm in transition to running the whole thing by myself and making lots of mistakes along the way and kind of learning. So yeah, we do everything marketing, honestly. Email marketing, ads management, SEO. SEO is kind of my favorite right now. But yeah, we kind of do it all. So that's me.
Okay, so you're in the marketing space. So your job, correct me if I'm wrong, is to make everyone, business owners, make them look good,
Yeah.
right? In the public eye. It's like the smoke and mirrors because we have no idea what really is going on. But your job is in the marketing job, it's to create the story, correct?
Mhm. Yeah. So it is, to position everybody as the expert and make them look like they have no bad days and that every day is $1 million day and everything is always fantastic and
Is,
everything
is,
smells like
isn't
roses.
isn't it?
No, I think, I mean, I think it's really hard for new business owners because you look around and you think, oh, everyone's so much farther ahead than me. And you think maybe there's like some secret sauce that you're missing or like people know something that you don't. But the truth is that like everybody is faking it a little bit. And I think I actually just read a story about Justin Bieber, and he was saying how he doesn't think he deserves all this fame and he doesn't know why he's gotten it and da 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 da. And he was essentially describing imposter syndrome. But even at that level, and he's been famous since he was like 16, even at that level, even though he's had everyone telling him how great he is his whole life, he's still like, I'm just fooling all these people. Like nobody actually knows I'm not that great. And so I think it really does happen at every level, but it is a really nice reminder that everyone is just a human. I feel like when I figured out that everybody feels a sense of that, that I, to some degree, stop being so hard on myself. But, I still feel it too. So
Tell me a little bit more about that, as to how it shows up in your life and your business.
Oh
Because
my gosh. Okay,
so
so
before you go into that, because I just want to say, I don't know if there's a caveat, but it doesn't, here's the thing, people watching or listening to this, right? You're awesome at what you do. And this is where people get it wrong. So So you are really good. Success story marketing is amazing what they do for their clients. However, what you go through behind, and this is for everyone, what you go through behind the scenes doesn't affect how you show up for your clients.
No.
A lot of people hide that because they don't want to seem or be seen as weak, right? For the fear of
Yeah.
all the stereotypes and whatever, right? Labeling. Bottom line is clients really don't care. In fact, they're more attracted to people who are real with them. And you are really
Yeah.
good at what you do, the results you get for your clients, but it's not always easy, is it, for yourself behind the scenes?
No. And I would say like I'm I'm almost authentic to a fault. And so there's like a level of I wish I could be a little bit more. I wish I could hold everything in a little bit more and hide it, but that genuinely to my core is just not who I am. So all of my clients get all of me. They see if they're like, "Hey, how are you today?" and I'm having a rough day. I'm like, "Oh, this thing happened and I'm frustrated or whatever." So for me, like I I kind of show all of that no matter what. And so I have to not deal with the consequences, but I can see firsthand that like it actually does create more of a bond. And I would say that my clients actually trust me more because I'm real with them. And I'm also real if like things are going wrong or things are going right and saying, hey, we went down this path and it was the wrong path. I think we should do this. Or I know you want strategy A, but I even though it's more expensive and I could make more money, strategy B is I think what you really need first. So yeah, I think it's I wish I could hide it more. I just can't. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a struggle. And I think also because my personality is like very happy and bubbly. And so people see that. I walk into a room and I'm very bright in that room, and people are like, whoa, she has so much confidence. Oh my gosh, like I wish I could be confident like her. And it's not really that I'm super confident. It's just like that is just who I am. It's not necessarily that I'm feeling confident in that moment. It's more that I love people and I want to talk to everyone. I want to be there and I'm excited. But I definitely have my days where I struggle. In fact, I have them all the time. It feels like every other day. Um, and yeah, there's always new challenges that I go through that are definitely testing me. And I try to see it as growth. And I know that I can't grow unless I feel these like tough parts. But I definitely feel them. I've been feeling them a lot this last month. Um, so yeah, it's not always as great as it looks, I will say.
Okay. Why don't we go back a little bit? Because we've been working together for a while. And actually, I should say to our listeners, one of the things that attracted me to working with you and your company is everything you just talked about. Just you're so real. And we had chatted a few times and I had met Gwen and all that kind of stuff. But I felt comfortable with you. I told you from the start, it's been a year now. I told you from the start that I totally loved what you and Success Story Marketing was doing and how you showed up. And I've gotten to know you over the past year. And my trust with you is stronger now than has ever been because you are real. And
Yeah.
there's so much fake crap or bullshit, if I can say it because it's my podcast.
Just your podcast. You swear if you want to.
There's so much bullshit out there, and everyone wants to have it look perfect, right? Like
Mhm.
the fancy mics we have right now.
Mine's not plugged in,
There you go. There you go. Just for
but
show.
I want to look professional.
But here's the thing. Um, it's us. It's you. It's what you can do for your clients and that you and people connect with you. But I want to go back to, if you want to share, Victoria.
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, I think it's that whole story is really interesting. So, I was invited to speak at a retreat, and I went, and my first day there, I was like so authentic with myself, very outgoing, super bubbly, made a great impression. And then the second day, people started presenting. And these entrepreneurs that were presenting were wildly successful. Like they're talking 30K month retainers. Two of them were like $20 million entrepreneurs. And I went to the bathroom and called Marshall, and I was crying and I was like, I can't do this. I don't belong here. I'm going to cry. um, and it was, yeah, I really just felt like I was completely out of my depth. But like throughout the weekend, I also realized that some of the presenters were also faking it until they made it. Like I talked to one presenter who was absolutely terrified to speak in public, and she was just shaking and she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And it was this very human moment. And I also got to know some of the other presenters and over time got to peek behind the curtain. And I realized it wasn't actually what it looked like. So I was here making up these stories in my head that they were so much better than me, and they weren't. They're just human beings, and they're showing up every day and figuring it out. But I was telling myself I wasn't good enough to be there. No one else told me that. And on the last day, I presented. I'll say this now, my presentation was better than everyone else's. I was the only one who came prepared with slides. Everyone else just sat on a stool, and I remember thinking, if I paid all this money to come to a retreat and I'm speaking to a $20 million entrepreneur and they're just winging it, showing up, being like, whatever, and not caring, like it felt so like, ugh. And so I came prepared. I had slides. Everything was color coded. I made sure I dressed nicely. I had a speech that I had prepared, and it went over super well. And actually not the owner, but the person who put on the retreat said that I blew her out of the water and she couldn't believe how well I did. And I ended up getting clients from that. But more importantly, I built like a really amazing network of these like wonderful people that I surround myself with now. And there was a day like on the Saturday when I called you, I didn't want to do the presentation at all. I wanted to quit. And it was so bad because as these other entrepreneurs were presenting, I was sitting at a table in the crowd and I was just crying. And I was trying really hard to like hold it in. So it was just tears coming down my face. But people beside me noticed, obviously, and they're like, are you okay? What's wrong? I'm like, how am I even supposed to explain this? I'm supposed to be presenting and be this like figure that these people look up to. And I'm sitting in the crowd crying. So I will say that like, mental health is really, really important. And it's something that just like you always have to work on. And so these people, I have lots of people that look up to me and think I'm so great. And I go home and think, God, I don't know why they look up to me. This is crazy. But I think we're all in a stage of growth all the time. Hopefully. I mean, if you're moving through life, hopefully you're always in a stage of growth. But yeah, it's a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. A lot of it is smoke and mirrors.
So how do you get through these moments, these days, these weeks? Because you have
I
to
call
show
you.
up. You call me. So let's talk about that for a second. So what is that? What is the secret for, or not the secret? I'm all about surrounding yourself with a strong inner circle.
Hmm. Okay, great. I have some secrets. So, strong inner circle, I did put like, so at all times, I have some kind of coach or mentor. And a lot of people think like, oh, I can't afford that right now, or I'm going to wait until whatever time to do it. But I've always had one, and that's really helped push me forward. Because I can see usually in the programs people around me that are doing well. And so I know what's possible because a lot of times when people aren't successful, they start to think, I don't even know if I'm cut out for this. I don't know if I can do this. Is it even possible? I actually had someone say that to me the other day. Like, is the market too saturated? I don't really know. I don't think this is going to work. And it's like a belief in yourself. So you want to surround yourself with people who believe in you, who get it. For me, a big part is like, as an entrepreneur, like it's fucking lonely, dude. Like it is lonely. And do you know the fable of the frog in the hot water?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, just in case people listening don't know, I'll just quickly say it. So if you were to drop a frog in a pot of boiling water, it would hop out right away because it's like, that's hot. But if you put a frog in regular water and you slowly turn the heat up, it'll stay in the water and just boil to death. And so me working from home, working from my computer, I am like a 10 out of 10 extrovert. So me being at home and not having a sense of community and not having people to rally around me who understood me or got me, I was like a frog in the hot water. I was like slowly boiling to death and I didn't even realize it. And so when I went to Victoria and I got to meet this community of marketers and women that were all in the trenches, they're all at different stages, but they're doing it. They're determined. They're honest. They're caring. They're just like everything that I want to surround myself with. And it gave me this like really newfound sense of like joy that, okay, this is actually the piece that I've been missing, is building a community around me. Because like my husband doesn't, he works a normal job, so he doesn't understand why I'm still working on the computer at 10:30 at night, or why I'm like fielding phone calls sometimes at 11:30, which is insane. That's a boundary issue. I'll have to get back to that later. But it's really hard when you have a win or when you have a loss and you don't have anyone to talk to about it that really gets it. So I think community is like maybe the number one thing, at least for me, because there are days when you want to quit and you want to have someone that you can reach out to.
Yeah. And someone who gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And I say all the time, most of us don't have, or a significant other or family. If they're not entrepreneurial, they don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I love that. Surround yourself with a community. Um, what are the other ups and downs that you have to, we as entrepreneurs have to navigate when it comes to sort of the emotional side of it? Because it is emotional, the ups and downs. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, I actually saw this quote earlier today that was like, that girl that you see online that has the perfect brand, she cried in her car last week. And I think like as entrepreneurs, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And honestly, if you spend too much time on social media, it's like how they say, don't read beauty magazines, they'll only make you feel ugly. If you spend
Mm.
all this time on social media and it looks like everyone is having, oh, everyone's having $20,000 days, like it can really make you feel like you're behind. And the truth is, like, half of those people are lying. But the other truth is, like, you'll get there. My Gwen used to say, don't compare your stage 1 to someone else's stage 27. So we're all in process and we're not ahead or behind. We're all on our own path. I think for me, like, I really have to focus on mental health because I I feel all my emotions at a 10. So the reason I'm so confident and happy and bubbly is like that is truly who I am. And I love people. I love being around them. But when I have hard days, I'm at like a negative 10. And it's like I cry all day. I have a really hard time getting through it. And so it's something that I have to constantly work on. So there's a couple things that I say or don't say. So I never say I can't do something. I can't do something or I'm bad at this. First of all, that's a fixed mindset, so it's not even accurate. But I always say, sometimes I'll say, oh, um, gosh, I suck at this. And then I'll stop. I'll go, no, I don't suck at it. It's something I'm working on. So someone said, instead of saying, oh, I should have done this, I used to do this all the time. Oh, I should have gotten this done today and I didn't. And he's like, don't say you should have, because should is just would with shame attached to it. So instead say, I didn't get to this thing. So tomorrow I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to do it like this. And like the the guilt honestly like just doesn't serve us. I feel like if anything, guilt like freezes me in place because I'm feeling so guilty. Oh my God, why am I not doing this? I just don't get any work done. So I have to reframe it and look at everything as a learning lesson. And so anytime I do something or I make a mistake or I do something I'm not happy with, I think, okay, how am I going to do things differently? And then the other thing that I do is honestly, like, just health and wellness is really important. I go to the gym every day. And I find that I went through a long period where I stopped going to the gym and holy, my mental health suffered. It's just a place where it's separate from everything else and you're prioritizing your health. And then the other thing that we've started doing is I do team meditations with my team every morning now at 8 a.m. It's the first thing that we do. And that paired with the gym, like I used to be like, I need to be on my computer and start working at 6 a.m. or I'm not working as hard as other successful entrepreneurs and I don't deserve the wins because I'm not working 14 hours a day. And like you see those people online that grind and they're like, they have optimized everything. They wear the exact same outfit every day because they don't want decision fatigue and they drive Ferraris and I get up at 3 a.m. and work out and do all this ridiculous stuff. So I had that standard in my head and it was honestly just making me feel like a loser because I was having such a hard time. So I've changed it. Now I prioritize myself over everything else. So if I start work at 10 a.m., I start work at 10 a.m. because I meditate in the morning and I go to the gym. And then when I start work, I'm starting with such a clear head. I'm invigorated. And the first day I did that, I got so much more done in the time frame than I regularly would trying to start at 6 a.m. and feeling guilty. So I think it's like really important to prioritize yourself also and always work on your mental health because it's such a real thing. And if you don't work on it, like my mom used to say, if you don't take a break, your body will take it for you, and it's
Hmm.
never at a convenient time. And it's the same with your mental health. Like, you don't want to leave work to the last second because then that day is the day you're going to have a fucking breakdown. So it's something that, like, the reason I meditate every day is because I want to work on that every day and I want to prioritize my own well being so that I can go out and give the best of me to everybody else. So I hope that
Well,
answered your question. By the time I'm finished answering your question, I forget what the question even was.
this is just a business unfiltered conversation, right? No, I love all of that, and it's important because a lot of us start the day. Most people start the day in reaction mode. They just have to get things done. They get up and they got, whether they have kids or they have this, they have emails, they respond, they do that. They're not taking care of themselves. They're not focusing on the day ahead. They're just doing without
Hmm.
thinking. And they're always like, or sleeping into the last possible minute. And so everything's in sort of like rush mode. And that's the worst way to, like, it's a horrible feeling when we're just getting up and rushing to get things done and to get going. So I love that. I love that. Start the day up. And everyone's different. So I should say that as well, right? Some people are morning people, some people are not morning people. So you have to
Yeah.
do what works for you. Want to share something?
I feel like I used to be a morning person. So I used to bartend, so I'd work really late at night and I hated it. And all I wanted was to be a morning person. So when I quit that job, I was a 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. starter. And my best friend actually is an early riser too. So if we'd be texting each other at 5:30 a.m., it was so great. And now I feel like my circadian rhythm has like evened out a little bit. And now I'm like a my body wakes me up at like 7:30. And I'm definitely the most productive in the morning. But also now I'll say, Marshall, I got this from you. And you're so smart. And I just love you so much. So you told me, I think it was you that told me, like, okay, we got into this job for freedom. So why are you being so rigid and hard on yourself to work these like 9 to 5 kind of hours? So now I do take breaks in the middle of the day to go for a walk on the waterfront, go for coffee with a friend. And then I come back and I'll work in the evening. So I often work till like 8:30 or 9 at night. But I've also taken these big chunks in the middle to go do a workout class, to go have coffee, to do whatever. And so I feel like it's like instead of like running out of gas at the end of the day, I have nothing left, I'm running on fumes, I'm filling up throughout the day.
Mhm.
And so not only am I more productive, but I'm like happier. And whatever the question is, I feel like the answer is always mindset. And so really working on just like being gentle with myself and being okay with taking those breaks. Like I used to really not allow myself breaks. And for me, like I was a huge gym rat for years. Like I used to spend $500 a month on fitness. I had a personal trainer and 3 different gym memberships, and it was just like wild. And to go from that to I don't even have time to spend 45 minutes at the gym and working through all of my breaks. Like I should have seen the writing on the wall that that was not going to be good for me. And so it's getting over the guilt of like it's okay to take a break, and you don't have to be like, let's be real, like the Elon Musks that sleep at the studio, that is the top 1% of the top 1%, and you can still be successful without being that level of extreme. Like I don't need
Yeah.
to work 14 hours with no break. I can just work regularly and be focused and still be successful. Might not be a billionaire, but I don't need to be, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do. I do. And there is there's a lot of pressure out there, and a lot of it is it comes from your industry, the marketing industry, and my industry, the coaching industry. It's a lot of crap out there, right? A lot of 10x, 20x, build a 7-figure, an 8-figure business, and then you start to feel guilty when you're not there.
Yeah. It's not
However,
nice.
it's not
Not
nice. It's
nice
not nice.
marketing. It's really not
Well,
nice marketing.
well, but here's the other thing, and I know this from experience. A lot of it is smoke and mirrors. I've had
Mm-hmm.
many clients come to me and they're having imposter syndrome because someone in their industry is doing this. They're at this level and they start feeling bad about themselves. Why am I not there?
Yep.
But
I've done
we
that with you.
but we don't see what's on, like you even talked about like at the Victoria conference. We don't know what's happening on the other side. We don't know the reality of that so-called, I'm doing my sort of like air quotes for those people listening. Um, those $20 million or whatever, even $10 million entrepreneurs who aren't prepared or might have been in debt. Like we have no idea. Goes back to my example, with one of my first companies when I had my sign shop.
Hmm.
We went, I think I might have told you a story. We went down to Portland. It was part of a franchise, and we went down, and there was this one woman who had, um, I think, 12 locations throughout Washington and Oregon State. And the
Hmm.
entire franchise bowed to her heels, her 9-inch pumps. Like she was the queen of the franchise. And she had like 70 employees, an HR department, a marketing department, whereas everyone else had like one or two locations. But she had like
Hmm.
12. And she was doing ridiculous numbers. And the franchise thought she was the greatest thing since sliced bread. We all thought she was. So me and my then business partner went down and spent a few days with her and her team, um, and got a lot of tips from her. And she showed us the good side of everything. And then like 6 months later or 8 months later, we find out that she's shut down 5 locations and she totally like screwed her landlord. All this money
Oh,
she didn't pay. She was in so much debt.
yeah.
She had the silent partner who was the money bags of it all. And she was in so much debt, she just walked away from 5 locations. So
Yeah.
you just don't know. And now there are people who are uber successful financially, but are miserable personally. So you
Yeah.
want to have sort of that balance. And for everyone, it's different, right? You said you don't need to be this multi-millionaire, multi or billionaire person.
I also feel like, yeah, like is obviously everyone wants financial stability, but like, is that the ultimate goal? Like as humans, what are we really doing? Our goal really is to maximize joy. We want the most amount of joy, the
Hmm.
most amount of the time. That's why we work hard because we think if we get money, that's going to bring us joy. It's like, how do we get our brains to give us more of that dopamine? And so, you know, like surrounding myself with all of those women and those marketers, like that has brought me a lot more joy than like finances does. And it's not to say that like everybody wants to make a living and whatever, but there's more to life than just being rich. Like those $20 million entrepreneurs, are they happy? Are they in happy, healthy relationships? Or do they get along with their family? Do they have lots of friends? Are their lives enriched? Like, I think for me, that is the most important is I want to help people and I want to do good in the world. I want to feel like what I'm doing matters, but I guess that is honestly what it is. I want to help people and I want to make people happy because that brings me joy, which is kind of why I picked this is I want to help people achieve their dreams. But the end goal is joy. So like, are you happy with what you're doing? Are you doing your job and working really hard and you hate every second of it, but you're just thinking, well, if I can just do this at the end of the year, I'm going to make $200,000. Like you get one life and there's only so
Hmm.
many hours in a day. Like, how do you want to spend that? My my brother, who I love, um, he's got like a very decorated education. So he has 4 degrees. Um, and he is an experimental neurological psychologist. He went to school thinking, I'm going to do all the science. It's going to be so cool. And then it's super hard to get a job as PhD. There's not a lot of jobs. Competition is fierce, whatever. So he ended up he runs a department at the university that has nothing to do with what he went to school for. And he was like, oh, God, I hate my job, but whatever. It's just 8 hours a day. And he's like, lots of people hate their job. It's fine. I'm like, you went to school for like 14 years so that you could hate 8 hours of your day every single day. And then you get home and then what's left? Oh, but like make the kids dinner, put them to bed. Like for me, that's just not what I want. And no shade to him. If some people can compartmentalize, but for me, like it's important to me that I like my job because that's where you spend the most amount of your time. Like you spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your husband or wife.
Yeah, 100%. No,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. Um, okay, so as we wrap this up, I'm curious as to what we like golden nuggets here at the Stern Truth. So what would be a golden nugget that you could give our listeners on how to, I'll put it this way. Two things. Number one, you're a marketer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So on the marketing side, maybe so a tip because people are saying, "Come on, Chanel, give me some marketing advice," right? So maybe some tip for them, and then we're going to put your links below so people can reach out to you should they want to,
Okay.
um, and see how you can help them. But also, so maybe a marketing tip and just an entrepreneurial tip.
Okay. So these might actually be the same tip, but um, be authentic, I think is my marketing tip. So I used to go to, I would go to networking events or I would go and see clients and I would wear like a suit basically. And I would just dress super professional, my hair pinned back. And if you know me, and I know that you do, that's not who I am. I am like a fly by the seat of my pants, kind of silly, a little offside, like I swear. And what happened was I didn't resonate with people when I was like that because I wasn't being authentic and people can sniff that out. They can't quite put their finger on it, but something is off. And so now when I go see clients, I show up in jeans. This is who I am and I connect with people and they see that raw authenticness. And so the number one way that or reason I get clients is because they say they trust me. And they trust me because I show up as who I am. And I'm like, this is me. This is what I'm going to do for you. I'm confident in what I can do. And honestly, like for a long time, I didn't swear in my content. And I do now just because that's who I am. And I don't want to, it felt so fake to me. And I'm not saying go swear like a trucker, but the authenticity makes such a difference. And people will really feel that on you. And you're going to attract clients that are attracted to that, to who you are. You don't have to be someone else. And it's so funny because people always go, be yourself. And it's like, what does that even mean? I'm always myself. But you're not. Like, if you're worried about what other people think or how you're going to show up, especially when you're new in the corporate
Mhm.
world or in a new room, the inauthenticity, people can feel it.
Mhm.
So that's my marketing advice. And entrepreneur advice is honestly celebrate the wins and look backwards. So anytime I have a win, I remember when I was like, all I want is one client. If I got one client, oh my gosh, if I got two clients, I would just die. I'd be so happy. And, a couple of years later, there was one month I had 16 clients and I was like, this is not enough. I need more. And so I think it's really important to look back and look at like where you came from. Like, would younger you look at you and be like, wow, I can't believe we made it this far? I think from where I started, when I started my school and marketing, like I didn't know what any of the jargon meant. I didn't even know how to type on my computer. So to go from that to where I am now, where I'm doing presentations and speeches and I'm being invited to retreats as a speaker, and I'm doing these podcasts with you, like that is huge. But every time we get to our goal, we've moved the goalposts already. And so it always feels like we're not good enough. So I urge everyone to take a step back and look back at where you've come from. You all have some wins. And sometimes it's just like the strength to show up in class every day when you feel like you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what you're talking about, and like learn, even if you feel like you're overwhelmed and out of your depth, like that is a win. So I encourage everyone to celebrate their win.
And how, no, I love that. And also enjoy we talked about this before, enjoy the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the process, not just the destination. Enjoy the journey. What
Mm-hmm.
about the mental health side of it? What's a tip for you that you can
Oh
give
my
on that?
goodness. It's so funny because I actually do like mental health training with other people. And sometimes, and that's an area where I feel like such an imposter because I have such hard days as well. Um, Mental health, I would say like, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's okay to not be okay and to give yourself that minute to just kind of regroup and just take that guilt away. As long as you're committed to the end goal, tomorrow I'm going to get up and try again. You're not always going to love every day and you're not always going to love your business. And sometimes you're going to fucking hate it. And sometimes you're going to want to quit or get a job or burn the whole thing down. And that's okay because literally we all feel like that. So as long as you're committed to just getting up and trying again tomorrow, just let yourself feel the feelings, go cry in the shower, and then, tomorrow's a new day and start fresh. Also, honestly, if you can meditate even 5 minutes, I promise it will help.
I think we have to clip that because that last section is such a huge gold nugget.
Yeah, you think so? It's funny because that's the area where I feel like I am the least strong. I can talk about business, I can talk about SEO and marketing and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But mental health is something I'm actively working on every day. And I feel like I have to actively work on it because I'll lose it. I'll lose my mind. So it's really, really important to me. But it's also the place where I feel the biggest imposter syndrome and I feel like the biggest struggle. So I'm glad that was a golden nugget because,
It's a huge
yeah,
golden nugget. Just go in the shower and cry. It's okay
yeah,
not to be okay. Look,
it's okay. Yeah.
I'm a huge golf fan, okay? And these golfers, like the greatest golfers in the world, have a round of golf, one of the tournaments. What do they do right after the round? They go back to the driving range and they're working on their shot. They go
Mm-hmm.
back to the putting green, they're working on their shot. They have coaches, they have people around them. They're constantly working on their shots. They'll have one round, they'll do really well. Another round, they'll miss the cut, or in a tournament, they'll miss
Mm-hmm.
the cut. And they'll be like 6 over, 7 over. They're constantly working. It's not like I've arrived and everything's great. And the same thing with entrepreneurship. And they
You
also,
never arrive.
you never arrive.
You never arrive. That's a big myth is that, oh, this person's made it. That person's made it. But no one feels like they've made it. Do we
That's
have
not,
time for a really quick story on that?
yeah, go for it.
Okay. So maybe I've told you this before, but they did a study. This is like on people arriving. So they did a study. They went to a family that made $100,000 and they said, "Are you rich? Are you wealthy?" And they said, "Us? No." Okay, well, how much would it take for you to consider yourself wealthy? Okay, well, we'd have to make $200,000 a year. They went to a family that made $200,000 a year. Are you rich? Are you wealthy? Us? No. Okay, well, how much would it take? $400,000. And then they did this all the way up to 4 million. Are you rich? Are you wealthy? Us? No. We would be wealthy at 8 million. And so it doesn't actually matter the level of success. And that's why you see these really rich people that are starting these new entrepreneurial journeys. And you're like, God, don't you have enough money? Like, why don't you just quit? Why are you even doing this? Like, or a good example is Conor McGregor has made so much money. He's also hurt himself in the ring a bunch. He's already been the champion. He does not need to go back and keep fighting, but he wants to because he still is trying to always be the best. So you never arrive. And even the top players still don't arrive. And that's why they're still trying hard to get to that next level. So don't be too hard on yourself.
Well, I love that. We'll end with that. Well, one more thing. Once you challenge is once for those who think they've arrived, that's when things go the other way.
What do you mean?
Once there are people, and I've seen it, companies, big companies, think they've arrived and they've got the market.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Blockbuster was the number one, okay, company.
Yeah.
They arrived. You
Yeah.
wanted a video, you go to Blockbuster. All of a sudden, Netflix comes out, starts to change things, right? Originally, Netflix was, I didn't even know this. Originally, Netflix was a mail, they used to send the movies by mail. I didn't even know that,
Mm-hmm. Old school.
right? And I love going to Blockbuster, right?
Yeah, me too.
How they actually approached Blockbuster to take them over. And Blockbuster said, no, like we're Blockbuster. And they didn't pivot, they didn't change, they didn't do anything, they didn't innovate. They just stayed the way they were because they had arrived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true.
BlackBerry is another one.
Yeah.
BlackBerry was the phone. They were the biggest platform. Everyone had it. Then iPhone came on the market. Everything changed. And BlackBerry
Mm-hmm.
again continued to be BlackBerry the way they were.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's like thousands of stories like that.
I mean, it's happening now with like cable TV.
Yeah.
Who
Always
has
have
cable anymore?
we well, I do. But we all have to we all have to in business we all need to continually work and you said at the beginning grow.
Mm-hmm. And growth is uncomfortable.
Growth is uncomfortable. And it can be it's exhausting. So
Yeah.
it's very important like you said to slow down, meditate, exercise, take time
Mm-hmm.
for yourself because you can't
Yeah.
always be pushing 24/7.
You know what? Actually, my therapist once asked me, "What do you do in your life that brings you joy?" And I burst out crying. And it was
Yeah.
in that moment that I realized my whole life revolved around work.
Yeah.
And that was all I did and was all I thought about. And I just felt like I didn't have time for anything else. And it was like such an eye-opening moment because I'm like, what is my life? So definitely make sure that you infuse your day with some joy also. It's okay to like work hard, but it's unsustainable if that's your whole life.
Another gold nugget right there. Clip that. Okay. All right. Chanel, thank you so much for being part of our journey here on the Stern Truth Business Unfiltered. You have been part of the journey before and behind the scenes as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're part of the encouragement for me to restart this. So I thank you for that. And we'll get your information down below in the show notes so people see. I'm sounding so official. The show notes, so people can actually reach out to you and
You are official.
and
That's
just get
imposter syndrome, Marshall.
and just get to know you. Get to know you because you're an awesome person, and I thank you for being part of the journey with us.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So we'll see you again, everyone, next week, and definitely reach out to Chanel because she is one awesome person. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Stern Truth. If you found today's episode helpful, we would love to hear from you. Please like, share, and leave us a review. Also, if you'd like to be a guest in an upcoming episode or join us in one of our Momentum Accountability Group sessions, simply email me to marshall@marshallstern.net. That's marshallstern.net. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep pushing forward and leading with confidence.